of an interesting story, but Oregon is very rich in wrestling history. And it all starts with a guy called Rick Sanders. And Rick Sanders is the only person that people have even argued perhaps loved wrestling more than Dave Schultz. Most will conclude that Rick is number two to Dave, but the mere fact that the comparison is made, do you understand? And Rick is the first ever world champion from the United States of America. Okay. The second world champion also happens to be from Oregon and was on the same team. He won the world championship an hour later. His name is Fred Fosard. 180 and a half pounds, Fred Fosard. 114 and a half pounds, Rick Sanders. So it's very much like the first man that stepped on the moon. Right? You guys will hear all of this stuff about Neil Armstrong. There was a guy right behind him, a second behind him. And all I can tell you is it was a guy. And you can't tell me any different. You don't know his name either. Like, being first matters. Can we agree? Okay. Now, Fred Fosard is cloaked in success. He was born with polio. He got a wing over here that barely works. He wins an NCAA title for Oklahoma State. Individual, won a team championship with Oklahoma State, and then he wins the world championship. So it's not as though he hasn't been recognized, but think about Neil Armstrong, okay? Think if the other guy would have stepped on the moon first, but the story got told that it was Neil, and they came down to Earth, and Neil just accepted it. Like, it's no big deal who went first. You know, we were up there, and we were doing a mission, and it's not the point. So he never corrected the story. He just let it go. Well, think of the guy that did actually step on it first. He'd kind of be going, hey, because I'm getting up there in my older years, and by the way, I would like to correct the story. And since there was only the two of us there, okay, but just think of it from this perspective, because it is now being disputed. It is being disputed that Rick Sanders was not the first world champion in American history. He was 114 and a half pounds. I'm going to retell you this. Fred Fosard was 180 pounds. Generally in the worlds, much like the Olympic Games, still to this day, they will go in order. So at that time, it would have been 105 and a half pounds to 114 and a half pounds, which is where Rick was, to 125 and a half to 136, and they would just work their way up. And that's what everybody would believe. That is generally how it is contested. There was no internet back then. The media doesn't cover wrestling now. So imagine in 1960. Okay, well, hold on. Fosard says they didn't go in order. For whatever reason, when the finals came around, they did not go in order. And I, at 180 and a half pounds, wrestled before Rick. And I am the first ever champion of the world for the United States. And Rick's passed away. And as the time goes on for Fosard, he would like that story to be corrected. Great. No problem. We'll correct it. I will help you. I will start here, and then I will go to my people. I will go to Flo, and I'll talk with Piles, and I'll call Mike Mal, and get Bashamani on board, and we'll have Willie, and we'll just straighten this out. Call over Rich Bender and USAW, and we'll get something printed and put on the mat.com. We will correct it. Won't be hard to do because we have a very small community. We can fix this. And I set out to do that, and I ran into a problem, which is it's being disputed. We now have a witness who is claiming they were present at the World Championships and that they did, in fact, go in order. And that Rick Sanders, being the lighter weight class, went first and is, in fact, the first ever world champion. I need help. There's no video that I know of. I can't go online, at least, and bring up video. This was filmed. Somebody has it. A governing body somewhere has it. Whoever that person is, if you are in possession of a tape or a film or a video that you can produce to me, of the final round of the World Championship to show me who in fact went first, I would give you $5,000 for that video.